Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jay from Faith Evolved, where I talk about all things spiritual, metaphysical, philosophical, and mental health. And if it's your first time here, thank you for joining me today. And please do check out the video section and peruse the videos and see if anything resonates with you. And if you watch it and you enjoy the content that I have, I would definitely be humbly appreciative of your subscription. As well as, don't forget to like the video, share it on social media, write something in the comments. I like to respond to as many thoughtful comments as possible. And of course, don't forget to hit the notification bell to get notified anytime I release a new video. All right, so today's topic is going to be all about the late breaking news that just came out from Politico yesterday about the Supreme Court voting to overturn abortion rights, as the draft opinion shows. Now, keep in mind, this is a draft opinion. It's not the final draft, if you will, where they sign the vote and it becomes the law of the land. Whereas at this point, federally at least, abortion will be illegal and it will be sent back to the states to decide, whether they should allow abortion rights or restrict it in some way or outright ban it. And there's also, I think, 13 states right now where it's already in jeopardy of becoming illegal should this actually hold up. And what I want to talk about today is my stance on this. This is going to be a personal opinion piece. This is not to try to get anybody else to think a certain way, but just really how I'm kind of verbally processing where I stand on this issue. So I do want to make it clear from the start that I don't judge anybody on their, personal viewpoint on this topic. If someone's pro-life or someone's pro-choice, I don't have an opinion on them as a person, whether they're a good person or a bad person, whether they're selfish or whether they're, super religious or something like that. I know that those things can factor into people's decisions. We're all human, right? But it's not my place to judge someone. This is just, again, me verbally processing where I stand and not trying to convince anybody to think a certain way, but more just to kind of basically explain this is a really complicated issue. It would be nice to just say, yeah, abortion is wrong, it's unethical, it should be illegal, it's murder, blah, 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 blah. And even as I grew up in a Christian home and, going to different churches where, abortion was spoken out against and, the rights of the baby, the fetus, should be protected at all costs. There was still a part of me that was like, there are extenuating circumstances, even when I was 100% pro-life, where I said maybe there should be exceptions for things like rape, or maybe the mother would die because it's a problematic pregnancy. Or maybe the child would be born with really bad birth defects. And under those circumstances, abortion should be allowed. But other than that, abortion should be completely illegal. It's wrong, it's murder, etc., etc. So as I've, evolved as a person and my faith has, really changed quite a bit over the past 3, 4, 5 years, I don't hold such a strict view on abortion anymore. And it really comes down to having a high-level view of spirituality from the get-go. So I don't think this issue is as cut and dry as either side would have you believe it is. Like I said, I came out of the fundamentalist Christian background where I grew up in, and I can still see why they're so staunchly against abortion. Because they believe at conception rather, a child is a sovereign individual and has all the rights of a baby that was just born. So I understand that perspective. There's no one else telling us otherwise. Of course, humans, we're the ones who come up with this stuff. There's nothing, God's not speaking, from the heavens saying a child that was just conceived, a fetus, is a sovereign individual who has all the rights as a baby. So then you have the pro-choice camp, which is not just about those examples of a woman getting raped or the child having potentially really adverse defects or the life of the mother. It's also things like economic and educational. Like, for example, the mother might not be mature enough. Maybe, she's 16 years old or 17 years old, is not, doesn't have the education or the resources or the finances to afford raising a child. Maybe the child would be born into a situation where the parents were addicted to drugs. And I have, firsthand experience in a situation like that. So there's a lot of other reasons that you can come up with to justify being pro-choice. And I mean that genuinely. Like, I get it. And maybe it's something as selfish as I just don't feel like having kids, So be it. I'm not judging you. I'm just giving you the reasons on both sides. But what if there's a third camp? Well, I consider myself in the third camp. My belief is you actually cannot kill anyone. Yeah, you can destroy a body, but we're not bodies. We're not bodies who happen to have spirits. We're spirits who happen to have incarnated within bodies. These are temporary shells. These are temporary flesh suits. These are avatars, whatever, description you want to call it. These bodies are not us. So if spirit was going to have personality expression through this body of mine here, and my parents decided to abort me before I was born, my spirit would say, okay, well, plan B. Pun intended. Sorry, I couldn't help it. We'll find another body to incarnate in. And that mentality, that viewpoint that I have, I think helps alleviate the guilt. It's not that I'm saying it should be a free-for-all, that, abortion should be completely run unchecked. I'm glad that there's resources out there for, parents to make, educated, informed decisions. And I'm happy that the pro-life camp, is trying their best to save life and saying that a child should have a right to live a life. And there's resources to help parents with maybe, putting their child up for adoption versus aborting them. So there's a balance on both sides. I don't think either side is wrong. I just think either side has a point that they can offer the person making the decision to weigh the options. Maybe they're just scared. Maybe they really want to have kids, but they're just scared. And someone on the pro-life camp can say, hey, there's help for you. Or maybe somebody that's on the, that grew up in a church environment and is being told that they're the scum of the earth because they would dare to abort their child, their unborn child, the fetus. And then the pro-life side, pro-choice side says, no, it's okay. You're not the scum of the earth. You have your reasons. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe you just don't have the resources. And I think as long as we provide the options for both sides of the argument, then I think we're better off. And from a spiritual perspective, realize you can't hurt spirit. There's nothing you can do. Like, I can't destroy somebody else's soul. So what if you didn't get a chance to express through one body? Is that going to stop spirit from expressing through another body? It's just, we think us as humans can play God too much. We think that aborting a child is playing God. We think that, forcing everyone to keep their child is what God would want. When it should be a case-by-case situation. Let the person make their informed decision. And know either way, whatever decision they decide, it's okay. It's not like they're going around full of evil in their heart making the decision on either side. They have their loving reasons behind it. So I just think if we just looked at it as in that situation, which I think this Supreme Court ruling, don't take this the wrong way, is good in the sense that it takes it off the federal government and puts it back to the states to make the decision. And that means more people have the right to vote on it. And it could even go that way in the Congress too, and and codified that way as well. This is more that I believe a good thing because the federal government should stay out of these kind of things. Separation of church and state, I think it should also have to do with, separation of church and life choices. State and life choices. So the government is there to protect us and to provide, ability for commerce and travel, not to dictate how we live our lives. So in that sense, I think it's a good thing that the government would get out of that, let it go back to the states, let it maybe even go to Congress, and decide that way, and then have it be the actual will of the people instead of one court case 50 years ago. Times have changed since then. We have to be able to adjust, and we have to be able to, adapt. So the folks that are afraid that abortions will be completely outlawed, I wouldn't even worry about it. I think the person who leaked this document did it on purpose because they wanted to give the states a chance, or even Congress a chance, to come up with a law to, be ready just in time for when the actual Supreme Court releases their final draft or final vote and sign it. So whoever did that, well played. I don't agree with it. It should be investigated, and whoever did it should probably be prosecuted because of the fact that it's not, it's unprecedented, number one, but two, it's just not right. This is a system we should be able to trust as Americans, and to undermine that, it's just not cool. But well played, anyways. I look at both sides of the situation. So I think in the end, it's all going to shake out fine. I don't really think abortion is going to be completely illegal. I do think that there'll be, even if it was illegal, I don't think anybody's really going to get prosecuted. It's 2022. There'll be safe havens. There'll be, people can go across state lines if they have to. There'll be ways around it. It's just like, honestly, not to compare it to marijuana legalization, but, it's not ever really going to get prosecuted. It's not really going to be, even though it might be technically a crime, even if it was for like a few weeks or months, it's going to become legal in all 50 states again, guaranteed. I see it like the writing on the wall, just like marijuana. Nobody's prosecuting that, even in states where it's still illegal. Nobody, we get it. It's 2022. This is a different world, and this is eventually, I think, going to be a good thing, overall for the country. For many different reasons, some which I don't want to get into right now, but suffice it to say that either way, I wouldn't worry about it because God is in control. God knows what he's doing. Us humans can't really play God and stop life. But if somebody was to ask me, what my opinion is, it's this. It's what somebody asked me, even back when I was a Christian, back about 15 years ago. Someone asked me what my beliefs on abortion was. And I said, whatever situation brings the most life. And I'm still going to leave it at that. Thanks and God bless.